This is Michael from Diamond Seed Astrology. This video is about paganism, the term paganism, and what it means and why I've chosen to identify as pagan in many of my interviews. And I know that paganism is, it's a problematic term, even though I have used it. I'm a heathen. I practice and believe in a form of Northern European paganism, but in many ways it's really unfortunate, that this really requires a lot of explanation what this means. I believe that the looking to any religion, so to speak, and paganism can be a religion. There definitely are dogmatic pagan sects. There traditionally were, in ancient times, dogmatic pagan sects, and there are statist pagan sects who are oriented towards, the divinity of the emperor, or the divinity of some sort of religious leaders, or the Gnostic ideas of, we have a prison planet here which we need to escape from, that it's essentially a hell in the Christian sense, that we should be trying to get out of this, because it's an evil place. And this is very antithetical to the heathen beliefs, and any sort of elevation of a priest class or a emperor or some sort of earth-bound individual who is some sort of right to claim themselves superior to the rest of humanity is utterly antithetical to heathenism in my reading of this. If you want to improve your life in the most quick and easy manner, start studying pre-Christian philosophy from Plato and Aristotle and Proclus, and historians like Herodotus, and all of the Plotinus, all these Neoplatonists. And don't look to these people, however, to be have all the answers. Don't expect that there's going to be it's not like the Bible. It's not something we want to look at it and get our Hammurabi's code from this that tells us how we're supposed to think, what we're supposed to do, roll our beads and say our mantras. That is, there's room for some of that. There is some potential benefit from that kind of religious practice. I've done it myself. I don't regret having done that sort of practice. However, there is no way we can hack our consciousness. There's no easy way to get ourselves to be successful and rich and change ourselves overnight. We are a prisoner of our consciousness, so to speak, if we want to use that sort of terminology. And if we are going to act as though consciousness was just data, if it's just ones and zeros, and a depiction of a recording of our life in some sort of human-like experiential manner, that is a complete and utter debasement of the human experience. The human experience is bizarre. It is strange. It is beautiful, and it's difficult. It is painful, and it is the process of generative and destructive forces working together in order to move us forward, to move consciousness forward, which is moving forward whether we like it or not. If we want to try investing in some sort of post-human, transhuman idea that we're going to upload our consciousness to the cloud, and there's some sort of ridiculous truth to to that sort of idea, then we are in deep trouble, and we're going to get ourselves bit on the ass by our mother, who is, of course, the goddess. The goddess is, so here's another thing about paganism that we need to remember, that we've been under something like that resembles a patriarchal regime for, like 2,000 years, but it's far more complicated than that. The feminine forces have been occluded, they've been hidden, but they're still used in symbolism. The symbolism of the feminine is alive and well, and it has been used by those who would take power over us, and the fact that that there's been, there's problems with this patriarchy as we know it, as it's been inflicted upon us. However, the answer is not some atavistic matriarchal return to a pre-patriarchal paradigm of feminization. Now, we need to understand that there is a God, there's a goddess, and if the goddess doesn't respect the God, then it's a no-starter. It's not going to happen. If the God does not respect the goddess, we're screwed. If we can't respect each other, if we can't respect these forces, and we don't understand these forces, we can talk about them all day till we're blue in the face and feel good about it. But if we're going to disrespect the masculine or disrespect the feminine, if we're not here in a sacred dance of femininity and masculinity, and we're going to shit on each other essentially with a smile on our face, then we're just screwed. So I don't know how to there's so many people who are jumping back on the bandwagon of Christianity at this point in time, because of the utter satanic, and I use that term in a particular way, and if you've gone to my website, you can see my ideas of Satanism are not the Christian idea of Satanism. It's simply a turning things on their head. It's a materialistic belief. It's based in the idea of the opposer, that which opposes nature, essentially, that which opposes any kind of natural law or natural order, and attempts to subvert it in every way possible, while keeping the humanity as stupid and docile as possible, in order to lie to them and change, get them to believe things that are not true about what humans are and where we fit into this planet. So there's a conflation of Satanism in the Christian paradigm with paganism, and that is absolutely, utterly incorrect, and that's something that's a holdover from our witch trials and the Dark Ages, when there was, of course, a genocide against people who followed the old ways. Did that have everything to do with the worship of the feminine and the understanding of the feminine? Absolutely. Absolutely, that had everything to do with that. Does that mean that the feminine is without blame, that it's incorruptible, that we should all be feminized? Absolutely fucking not. That is absolutely wrong. We need the whole picture. We need a larger picture, which is why I've said in previous videos that if we don't understand these archetypal territories, beginning with masculine and feminine, and including all of the principles of Hermeticism, which are, of course, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. If we can't, understand these forces as they work we are just screwed. We're going to be subverted by people who do understand them and can get us to not understand them, to occlude these basic forces, and only us as individuals can understand these. And if things appear a certain way, if somebody appears to be treating you in a way that's disrespectful, or they're gradually pushing you into a corner, believe that that's what's happening. Believe that that is your that is what's going on, and reorient yourself towards a place where you're respected and you're understood, and it's that simple. So it's easy to when I identify as a pagan, it's very easy for people who are Christian or materialist to just immediately either lump us into the like, I'm opposing Christianity. I'm like, I'm the enemy of Christianity. I am in no way the enemy of Christianity. I am not here to fight Christianity. No pagan in the right mind would do that. I personally, and I speak only for myself, would like for there to be an understanding of what has been done in the name of Christianity, which began in Europe, as I said, the genocide of people who held on to the old ways, the consolidation of power of the church with the state, these two forces joining together in sort of a social engineering monolith, that there's a controlled opposition. One will pretend to be sheltering us from the other. The materialist atheists want to are so proud of the separation of church and state, and that's great. I mean, I agree with that, but it should be understood that that doesn't mean that the state has the right to destroy religion, or to create its own religion of the state, which is exactly what has happened now, where the state has become a religious entity, which is as dogmatic as anything that happened during the Inquisition, in its adoption of leftist gender ideology and other completely anti-human, anti-biological reality stances, and dogmas. So a pagan, and I've said this before in other videos, the pagan is truly the most conservative person on the planet. Does that mean the pagan aligns with political conservatism? Absolutely fucking not. No, it does not mean that. This is we are in many ways the victims of our unfortunate co-optation of language. To be conservative is to attempt to conserve, the older ways, the ways that have have value, and there's a lot of older ways that don't have value. We need to be looking through our paradigms, our ways of thinking and acting, and decide what is right for us at a certain time. We have to weigh in against things that are destructive to humanity and destructive to our understanding of our own consciousness and the value of our consciousness. We have to weigh in against those things, and that means stepping on the scales further in the other direction. That's what it means. So this is gotten to be a long video, and thanks for listening. And I hope this helps. I know there are other pagans out there who are who are at different places with their paganism, and there are pagans who I absolutely disagree with. We're not a monolith. This is not something that there's many Christians, like mystical Christians, who I have a great deal of sympathy for. However, those I have yet to hear much in the way of any kind of understanding from mystical Christians of the genocides that were perpetrated in the name of Christianity, and the actual the nature of Christianity as something of a solar and Saturn cult. That Christians want us to believe that they're different. This is all different now. It's all different. Yeah, no. There is a ancient. There's shoulders upon which they are standing, and there's nothing wrong with solar cults. There's nothing wrong in some ways with Saturnian cults. There's these are simply energetic areas of consciousness and of worship. Worship, again, is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing when we turn off our critical thinking, and if we start thinking magically, and there's nothing wrong with magic either. But if we're just going to invest in this idea that we're going to hack ourselves into superiority, into like a better life, and we're going to turn away from the simple things as we look for some panacea, some sort of placebo that's going to change our traumatized and troubled life into something that's easy. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm done ranting, and thanks again for listening, Michael from Diamond Seed Astrology, and I will be back.